Scary times are upon us once again. Friday the 13th brings with it superstitions, uneasiness, and crap games it seems too. For those who don't know what Blast Games are, aren't you lucky, but they are a publisher of the European PS2 budget titles, and they published what no one else dared to. Every game would have similar box art and manual design, featuring bright orange and yellow backgrounds with bold aerial text and screenshots pasted on top. Seriously, you could see these things from a mile away. These designs persist onto their website too. I have 3 games published by Blast Games for us to have a look at, so here's our first game, Captain Scarlet. Now I don't know anything about this show, but I know at least one thing. It was on television in the 1960s, and that's a problem. Why is that? Because this game was trying to appeal to a market that most likely didn't care for the hot new gaming system, with them being in their early 40s by the time this game came out. The game begins with what I assume is the theme song from the show, and footage of a car going all over the place. From here we can go to the first mission in Koala Base, Australia, where we take our car for a new test drive. Look at those graphics. They're terrible, but I think I can fix them. Look at that, much better. Jokes aside, this might be the blandest scenery I've ever seen the PS2 process. It's so big and it all looks the same. I wonder if I'm driving on the same part sometimes. And that sound, there's no music, only the sound of your engine. And it's oddly quiet. I'm getting so much sensory deprivation I'd rather be staring at a wall.
Oh golly, it moved.
So once we complete the race, our next mission finds us in the exact same place. But this time, we have guns. Oh yes, let's go find something to blow up. This car here should do just fine. Oh. The controls in this game are some of the stiffest I've ever used. It seems easier to turn right than left. That being said, I did manage to pull off a fairly decent drift. Anyway, blow up 1, 2, 3 more cars and we're off to London, where there's a giant tower standing alone in a field.
I reckon that's right there.
But this is an escort mission, seeing how we must protect this white VIP car from the no-good evildoers. And if you stray too far from the car, its health goes down quite quickly. And this is a prime example of, why game designers, why did you make it like this? A roundabout with 2 of the exits blocked off. Why couldn't it be a simple left turn? And this screwed me up to the point where I lost the car, and with it my motivation to keep on playing this. So that game literally failed at doing whatever it was meant to do. Bland scenery, terrible music, awkward controls, makes this a game that I just cannot recommend.
Now, have you ever wanted to get yourself involved with a pig that befriends a spider of all things? Well, good, because Charlotte Webb's our next game.
I think this is the most infamous of the Blast titles, seeing how the movie was released fairly close to the game. Now, I don't know anything about Charlotte's Web either, so I would have no clue to how faithful this is to the source material. Putting the disc in, we are greeted by not 1, not 2, but 6 company logos. Geez, how many companies made Worms 4 again? 2 probably. They're all in silence too, and then... Why is it so loud? I'd rather go back to Captain Scarlet's sensory deprivation, thanks. There's a name entry screen, but I didn't know how it worked, so we're just going to play as R. After Wilbur tells us how we got into trouble, we find ourselves zooming down a hill in a pink pram. How this happened, I'm not sure, but what I do know is we've got to make sure that we safely reach the bottom without dying. It'll be just fine. To use the square and circle buttons to correct your balance, because using left and right would make too much sense. I've heard of rolling hills, but this is ridiculous. After we've come to a gentle stop at a random part of the hill, we find ourselves at a barn, where a goose tells us to look for a hole in the fence. Once I found it, we learn that the other animals aren't talking to Wilbur anymore, so we're off to get some stuff for them to see if they'll talk to us then. Wilbur controls as stiff as bricks. You move incredibly slowly, which means the dogs always catch you, which takes you back to the start. And every time you get caught, the farmers say,
"Come here, you! Come by, Wilbur. You will be in a sandwich soon, my boy."
Well, he's not wrong.
Come by, Wilbur.
Now we have one more game to look at here. I think it's probably the best of the bunch, but that's not saying much. Jumanji, based on the 90s movie with the same name, is the poor man's Mario Party essentially. Each player takes turns moving around a board, and after each turn, everyone must participate in a minigame. And these minigames aren't that inspired. There isn't that many of them, and they just go on for far too long, with controls that aren't very responsive. The River Rapids minigame, for example, is some of the heaviest controls, to the point where it seems impossible to steer your raft sometimes. But that being said, the whole game can be beaten in around 20 minutes or so. The music is pretty atmospheric though. So it seems that our Blast Games adventure wasn't full of the best games, so that means they lied to us. To have a blast means to have a good time, and never, not once, when I was playing these games did I have a good time. so that means I have to come up with my own way to have a good time.
Welcome to the first annual ShellTheDon game tossing contest. Try and toss games as far as I can. First up, we've got Captain Scarlet. How far can the captain take his vessel? Let's find out. Not a bad shot, not a bad shot. Next up, we've got Charlotte's Web. Will the pig survive? Probably. The trajectory was a bit wibbly wobbly, wasn't it? Next up, we've got Jumanji. Will it survive the toss, or will it end up in the moss? Let's find out. I think the roll there carried the Jumanji to victory. Let's go see who won. Right, I found one here. Charlotte's Web. Here. Captain Scarlet. Oh, and I found Jumanji quite a ways away.